This is where I explain the link between each of the events and the layered meaning. Like I said, life happens in sequence, no standalone events. Just one thing leading to another, which then leads to another, and so on. Here's the breakdown in order. This starts with a pinned video on RichB's page. 19-year-old Rich, struggling, homeless, on a cold February morning. A scruffy-looking old man, but homeless too apparently, sits across and stares. They strike up a conversation. The man nudges him. "You don't belong here. Hold your line." As he's about to get off, RichB asks his name. He says, "Gabriel," as in the angel. That moment was the first mark. A soul stare that stamped a purpose into him. Heaven signs first. When he was about 20, an old man tells Rich a story about a Venice shop, the vampire store. He laughs it off, files it away. That seat sits under the years like a stone under moss, waiting the right storm. What is anchored at 20 returns when the scroll reopens. Take note of the 20 here. We'll get back to it for deeper alignment. Years after the angelic encounter and seeding of the vampire store story by the old man, life moved forward. Jobs, families, cycles of time. But beneath it all, a thread was tugging. When RichB finally booked that family vacation to Venice, it seemed casual. Sunlight, rest, getaway. But in truth, the angel's words and the old man's story had been quietly preparing him for this return. Subconsciously, he wasn't just planning a holiday, he was answering a call. The true itinerary was hidden in plain sight. Go to the vampire store, film it and post it. That act opened the scroll, and the moment he pressed record, the signal went out, summoning Signore M. The paper letter that followed was no coincidence. It was a portal answering the subconscious pilgrimage. The Italian letter from Signore M arrives out of nowhere, slid through the channels no one could trace. Paper as portal, a polite, written handshake from the unseen. The moment ink meets eye, the pilgrimage is no longer private. It's acknowledged, sealed, and escalated. A letter is always more than words. It's a contract, and like every true contract, it demands the next step. That's why what followed could not be random. An initiation by water. The cruise prepared in his name wasn't leisure, it was baptism. The letter opened the door, but the sea would wash him through it. At the dock, the captain tells him the cruise is already paid for, half the cost tipped in advance. Nobody Rich knows would do that. It feels staged, scripted. Water isn't just scenery, it's a door. It holds memory. Passage covered means more than generosity. It's an initiation. By stepping on board, he consents without words. Rebirth, baptism, a cleansing of the field. The ride across the water isn't a luxury outing. It's a crossing into covenant space, which is why once ashore, the offering doesn't end the water. It deepens into blood memory, and that's where the wine waits. At dinner, a waitress slides them a premium red on the house. No coincidence, no random kindness. Rich studies the bottle, an M crowned with roots. Water carried him across the threshold. Now blood seals the covenant. Red wine is more than taste, it's memory liquefied, a ritual in the open. Roots on the label speak lineage and claim, like a family crest appearing uninvited at your table. The covenant is inked, not in contracts but in symbols, flowing from cup to soul, and as soon as covenant is acknowledged, the next step rises. The grave calls a name. Rich slips an old woman exactly €5, a small token, yet he opens a gate. She blesses him and leads him to what she calls the graveyard of blessing. There, she points to a tombstone, etched in the name Moretti, Signore M, written in stone. The covenant of wine has now sunk into the earth. Currency becomes offering. Soil gives memory back. What was hidden below is now resurrected into present time. Once the dead are honored, the living light responds, and that's when the flicker comes. Back home, the testimony follows him. Security cameras ping. The living room light flickers without storm, without fault. Then an orb drifts silently across the patio. Earth just returned memory through the grave. Now fire and air answer back. The house itself becomes the altar. The light flicker is the hinge of the unseen. The orb being a witness from the higher strata. It is the initiation signal. The scroll has opened fully, and the other side responds. You're engaged. Proceed. From the orb's witness light, the path bends into coordinates. Guided by fragments of correspondence, he walks the plaza and finds the three markers, the winged lion carved on the corner, the fountain of quenching, and the nexus point marked by the number 27, a live coordinate. To locate them is no tourist act, it's a rite of recognition. Each marker is a stamp. Lion is the bloodline mirror. Fountain is the covenant with water. 27 is a numeric anchor. By uncovering all three, he passes the field test, a public verification that placed him on the map. That completion did something specific. He flagged the witness, naming and exposing a Nexus broadcast intent. It draws the watcher's attention and flips the switch on close-range measures. In plain terms, by finding and showing the markers, he leads a beacon, and beacons invite the in-house probe. The plaza proved he could see. The next question the watchers asked was, can he hold what he saw? The answer came nights later in the house. On a certain night at exactly 3:13 a.m., not long after he had completed the plaza field test, RichB woke to a steady insect-type clicking while his German Shepherd stared and low growled. He recorded a video explaining what had happened, visibly shaking. Days earlier, he had named the Mantis Lord in a video. Coupled with showing the Nexus markers, he had effectively signaled that he was looking and telling. The clicking wasn't random. It was the mandibles, the Mantis's jaw blades working like scissors on reality. Mandibles cut memory, edit timelines, then restitch false frames. Waking at 3:13 is no accident. The number is a mirrored code, the hour when polarity frames the one and reality becomes malleable. The field tests at the plaza put him on their target list. The in-house mandible test was the watcher's follow-up, a close-range probe to measure whether his memory, his testimony, his witness would hold under surgical editing or be rewritten. That is the chain. Expose the node, get flagged and get probed. The Mantis Lord's visit is the active reply to being seen. The angel plants the calling, a whisper from the fifth element that signs destiny. The old man's tale at 20 seeds the memory, a buried root waiting seasons. The family vacation performs the subconscious pilgrimage, the journey of wind and intention that carries him back. Pressing record opens a portal. The moment spirit becomes signal. Then the sequence moves through the elements as right. The letter arrives as a message. Water baptizes and asks consent. Wine seals the covenant and roots the promise. The blessing at the grave returns what was buried to the surface. The light flicker and the floating orb answers back like fire and air, initiation and witness. The Nexus stands as altar where the elements converge. And finally, the sentinels test the hinge. The moment the mandibles try to cut the line and the witness must hold. One chain, one choreography, not chaos, not noise. A scroll walking itself through water, earth, air, fire, and carried by the ether.